Welcome to Akweya TV. My name is Idajo Aja. This episode is going to be a highlight of the maiden edition of AkweyaTV Award held at Ladi Kwali Hall, Sheraton Hotels and Towers, Abuja on the 16th of December 2020. It was with the launch of 50 million naira media fund under the distinguished chairmanship of Air Vice Marshal Monday Morgan, the National Coordinator, Benue Rebirth Movement. Our major trust is a spotlight on deserving awardees, celebrating and placing on record their outstanding contribution to the society and nation at large in the different areas for which they were awarded and applauded. We are well informed that public job is a thankless job in every society, and most times have gone unnoticed. However, when people and their works are valued, they feel satisfied and motivated to do more to maintain or improve their good works. Appreciation is a fundamental human need, and people generally accept appreciation when it is shown through recognition of good works, because it confirms that their good work is valued and acknowledged. Therefore, the AkweyaTV Award is a vision of intent to reach the goal of non-recognition of good works in our society, and to publicly recognize and appreciate individuals at certain levels, certain categories of national, traditional, business, education, and political leaders whose selfless contributions in the society cannot be overlooked, but has gone a long way to improve the life and welfare of members of our society. Today, in this episode, the spotlight is going to be on Air Vice Marshal Monday Morgan, retired, the National Coordinator, Benue Rebirth Movement.
The Royal Highness is here present. The MD Akweya Television. Distinguished Nigerians, invited guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. I'd like to thank the Almighty God for giving us today. In any occasion that people come together to talk about unity, it is a blessing from God. When I was invited as the chairman of this occasion, I was on my way out of the country. I could have stayed longer, but I took note of this day, and I was in constant touch with the organizers. It's an opportunity to talk to our people, to talk about the history of Nigeria. At the time of the amalgamation of this country, the colonialists did a wonderful research. They did research into the migration trends of all inhabitants of the greater Nigeria, and decided to cluster people of the same ancestry together. And that is why, if you see the monolithic knot was so huge when you compare it to the size of Westerners and Easterners. Because those clusters in northern Nigeria were people of almost the same migrational trend. So, when you talk about the Kwarafa Kingdom, it is a group of people that migrated back into Nigeria as far back as 11th century. This is to refresh us here the history of our people. And when we talk about unity, you talk about a struggle in a group of people who do not know their history will have a lot of problems in coming together. I am particularly happy because on this occasion I'm talking about on a platform of media. And media is the voice of something. It's a voice that projects something. In the traditional setting, if there was going to be any event in any community, there are town criers that will reverberate it in the communities. But technology and education has made it simpler, that even the radio waves can pass an information so clearly. But made better, technology came with television, that when somebody talks and you see that person, that impression never gets lost. So Akweya Television is a great project that is being programmed and directed by very young people. And I think we should be very, very proud of it. I'd like to thank the MD for his actions. That no matter how small a group is, once they have a voice, they must be heard. On this reason, I want to stand here to say a little bit about the Benue Rebirth Movement. As a retired general, I like to make a comment on my cousin. Akweya is my cousin. Benue Rebirth Movement is a consciousness that came into me. While I was in the service, I was so busy flying. I never, if people are mentioned in Benue State, I don't know them. Because when we left secondary school in 1978, I never came back to that town. I was busy doing the military job. But when I rose steadily in the rank and went to the highest levels and had to command or deputize the Tactical Air Command in Makurdi for 1 year, I came to mix with people of Benue State. And I was stung by a peculiar characteristics of administration. That a state that constitutes tribes of different ancestral descent, there is a very sharp line to identify that those from one area and those from the other area. And I don't think that is what the second standards of the national anthem preaches. So I felt that, why are we so divided? It was bothering me. So while I grew up in the rank, and eventually when I retired, I felt that there is a need of a rebirth in Benue. Because Benue State was created from Benue Plateau State. Even when we go back to the memory lane, historically, in the Northern House of Assembly, there were voices. Those of us who are students of history, you remember names like Dr. Jolie Tanko, Dr. David Lott, J.S. Tucker. These were people who were agitated that in the bloc Northern Assembly, the minorities were not having their voices. And that was one of the reasons that the UMBC, the United Middle Belt Congress, was created as an agitating platform to ensure that the minorities have a voice. General Gowon is a minority, an Angas man. He became head of state. And for Nigeria not to derail into oblivion, he used his wisdom to create the 12 states to ensure that the Biafrans never succeeded. And he fought a brotherly war and reconciled everybody after the war. Benue Plateau State was created by military fiat. And my own research also showed that when Benue State was being created, the political class were not consulted. So Benue State was created by military fiat. So if anybody has an impression that the agitation for Benue State out of Benue Plateau State was created by a group of people or a tribe, that person has not told the truth. Because the lopsidedness in which the state is run in aligning to population couldn't be acceptable. We have states that came out of Benue Plateau. Nasarawa State came out of Benue Plateau. Our own brothers, an Alago man, Akweya, became a governor in that state. It moved to another tribe. Muhammad Abdullahi is also of Warafa extraction. He became governor. He moved from there to Al Makura, who is an indigenous Nasarawa man. So if there's a seamless acceptance for people to rotate leadership within tribes in a constant assembly, then you can see progress. It is on that line that if a Lalong, who is from Shendam, a small tribe, became governor after a bigger tribe of Jenagang Jang, who is of Birom, a bigger tribe, handing power to a smaller tribe, and that the Tarok under Solomon La handed over power to another tribe, and that Bokos where Dare comes from is one of the smallest tribes in Plateau. If such seamless movement is taking place, then it can never be different in Benue State. Why have I decided to take the gauntlet? I do not, and I can't continue to say it. Mischief makers can say he has a political ambition. I don't. But I have seen that there is a vacuum that must be filled if proper negotiation and frank and courageous negotiation must take place. I want to remain neutral, and I'm inviting people of like minds who think that unity is crucial for the advancement of Benue State to come on board with me. So I have debunked a few insinuations. Recently, in one of our visitations to our chief brothers, a respected elder told us that the other politicians that we've been visiting haven't told us the truth, and that he will bear the cat. That the Idomas have arrogated the center to themselves. But it beats my imagination. How can a zone, a senatorial zone of the tree in Benue will arrogate powers to themselves in the center? The president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces, as I know, is President Muhammadu Buhari. He's a Fulani man. The vice president is a Yoruba man. There is no Idoma man or any person from Zone C that is in the center controlling the affairs to such an extent that Zone C in Benue will be patronized. So I think there is no water in that allegation. However, I always urge Idomas that in whatever position you find yourself, treat all and sundry with justice. Whether the person is Steve, Idoma, or whatever tribe he is in Zone C, he should be treated fairly. And once there is justice and equity, peace will reign. Then, other insinuations are that because for 44 years, Zone A and B, who are thieves primarily, have ruled the state, there is a bottleneck anger by Zone C to such an extent that if they are given the opportunity to become governor, there will be a kind of repressive reaction to punish Zone A and B. And I say again, that cannot hold waters. Because the truth of the matter is that population is key to politics. In the Benue State House of Assembly, the Zone A and B, which is predominantly TIV, can mobilize the necessary two-thirds to impeach any governor if he is not kowtowing to the standards and ideas of democracy. So why the fear? There is no need to fear, because the platform which I have formed will be a vanguard to whoever will emerge for us. We are not interested in any political party. Our advocacy is that Zone C is the political party of Zone C. We talk to our brothers. We appeal to their conscience that time has come for them to relinquish power to the lesser brothers. Because one thing I've realized is that anybody that you have not tested, you cannot know the capacity of that person. So if power just revolves between A and B, and C does not test leadership, how are you going to say that collectively leaders in Benue have failed? So it is on this reason we agitate. And I'd like to say here that Benue Rebirth Movement will collaborate with Akweya Television to propagate our ideas, to preach peace to our brothers in Benue State, to tell them that we are all brothers, yes, of different historical background, yet we have staged for so long, to such an extent that the tribes in Benue have started copying each other's character. Today, you will see a crossbreed of culture within Zone C. And let us, as brothers and sisters in that zone, come together to ensure that come 2023, the right thing has to be done. And the right thing is the emergence of a governor from Zone C. Nobody should worry if the smallest dialect group pick up that ticket. The whole Zone C must support that person. So on this note, I'd like to thank the organizers of this occasion. I want to thank the MD and his wife, who is present, and that for the royal fathers, your presence here has energized our spirit. Because the libations that you poured, even though you have not performed it, from your mind, gives us hope. And finally, for the first time, I'm seeing this cultural troupe that is indigenous to our people, that must be promoted at all costs. So once again, thank you for inviting me, MD. Thank you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and God bless you all.
Air Vice Marshal Monday Morgan is a retired Nigerian Air Force officer who headed the Defense Intelligence Agency of Nigeria from July 2015 to January 2016. Morgan was the Air Officer Commanding Logistic Command, Nigerian Air Force, Ikeja, Lagos, before his appointment as CDI. Morgan, a seasoned fighter pilot, also had a stint as the Senior Air Staff Officer, Tactical Air Command, Nigerian Air Force, Makurdi. He was appointed as Chief of Defense Intelligence on July 13, 2015, by President Muhammadu Buhari. Air Vice Marshal Monday Morgan is the National Coordinator, Benue Rebirth Movement. Benue Rebirth Movement's vision as a socio-political organization with the mission to negotiate partnership, participation in the governance of Benue State by all zones. He is committed to a new Benue where development is evenly spread across the state and for Benue to become a model for management of diversity in Nigeria. Recently, the Benue Rebirth Movement initiated the construction of township roads in Otukpo, the seat of the Idoma people. The AkweyaTV has honored Air Vice Marshal Monday Morgan with the AkweyaTV Awards for provision of uncommon leadership and focus on development.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very proud to be here today, as always, because once I'm with my people, it's the best moment for me. This gift, I'll hand it over to the Almighty God, because it is through Him our desires can be achieved. And without the people's support, I do not have any command. Command and authority belongs to the people. God bless.
That's where we wrap up the show for today. Watch out for spotlight on our next awardee, AkweyaTV Aja.